Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to close out this weekend with something I feel woefully inadequate to speak about. But just like with Drum Cam Week, I'm going to do my best, and we'll see where that takes us. Santiago Pollo, for their special selection, requests The Lovely Thing Suite by Watsky, which is a rap 4-part suite. Trigger warning, the track deals with death, loss, and suicide. And a special warning, just for me, the track ends abruptly, for thematic reasons. So be ready for that. Thank you for that. The trigger warning is definitely a good thing to know. Kind of get my mind ready for that kind of content. But also, knowing that the ending ends abrupt, it helps. It does. I really don't like my abrupt endings. But knowing that it's coming and knowing that it's thematically relevant, that helps. I do have the lyrics in front of me. Santiago wrote them, however you want to word that theirself. And I will have a link to that in the description if you want to read that along while we're listening to this. Alright, it's a 15-minute song. Buckle in. Let's get ready. Let's go.
I remember vividly my tears dropping on the gray carpet on the top steps. Pops giving me
I like that piano part.
Me confessing the burning question, stressing and concerning me, turning me to a wet mess. It's probably nothing, I get it, I'm aware. I know it's probably stupid to be scared, but these days are flying past us and nobody seems to care. It's like we're sprinting towards a brick wall we're pretending isn't there. What happens when we hit it? Do we split into a million?
I like the breaths in the track.
Bullfrog and talking ribbits. What is it? What is it? You got the answer, so give it, so give it, so give it. Don't lie. What happens when we die? Dad says, Georgie, I'm just guessing from what I've been told. Probably thinking, how'd I raise this emo fucking 9-year-old? Since I'm sort of really not religious, it's a crapshoot. I'll roll a paradise. Although the thought of paradise is very nice, in my heart I know I don't believe in magic. So I'm thinking maybe death is like eternal TV static, or returning to the state before your birth, absorbed into the earth. The fewer hours left, the more they're worth. I admit that it's difficult to think about. I think everybody got a little bit of doubt. You don't get to hide from it even if you shout. Got a soul on the planet gets to wiggle out. And he said that I know that it's tough to take in some of it is so early. I can see her in a hurry, but don't worry, cause
I like the extra emphasis the drum gave that part.
that is it for a long, long time. That is it for a long, long time. That is it for a long, 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 long time. Life moves fast. Made the mistake of blinking 20 years past. Now I'm sitting in my living room in Brooklyn with my father. We don't bother doing Christmas in the Bay any longer. It's the first time that we've had this conversation. He says it's tough to take in. I know we're not quite ancient, but we reached the age where we should probably talk arrangements. We could take it several routes. We could sell the house. We can't work forever. Eventually money will run out. That's a spot. Taking a loan would help us cover, which would make it tougher to leave something for you and your brother. Stop. Can't you see? Every meal that you paid for me. All this power.
I like the panning between these characters. It's really smart.
Riches, but it's plain to me. The key fact is it's easy to act like cash means jack shit if you never lacked it. And the greatest honor I could have is to make a buck and pass back a fraction of all the happiness you gave to me.
Yeah, really cool drum bit there.
Live where you don't aim to be ages, just data. We paint our story A to Z, then dip out R.I.P. rip out. We tear out the pages, tear up the stage, and we take a seat, making a vacancy. Famous or not, we fade from the plot. Every day when a new night falls, I ride him on the sun in this big blue ball. I get a bit further from the kid called Paul, and I get a bit closer to the big brick wall that since inching up to that fence, I can run my fingers against all the bricks and mortar and sense that it's not so cold, it's so dense. And although I'm mournful, I've known that I'm not immortal. I'm not banging into stone, but I'm more headed through this portal. We're born to return to home, we're all born to be mincemeat. Everything dies except for Papaya King hot dogs on 86th Street. Dad hands me a napkin, tells me it's been the same since the 50s. He didn't always love the city, but damn it, he'll miss me. How can you miss something after you leave? I agree that it's sad, but please don't dwell in it, Dad, because that isn't for a long, long time. That isn't for a long, long time. That isn't for a long, long time.
Yeah, so a really heavy first track and extremely dense. Very nice transition though.
What a tangle. What a strangling knot to be caught in. To be exiled here. To be stuck in Berlin with Vienna so near.
And this is...
Yet so far
why
from
can't I
the
think of the name of
emperor's
this
ear.
track?
What a strange and impossible sum.
If it's not, it is an
Old
homage
to
at
still be
least.
so young. To have sung before speaking a word. To be heard, to be hailed, then to fail, to be done. To love but to be so naive. To trust and to be so deceived. To mourn, forlorn to be torn from you. Scorned for another who suffers no grief. To curse God seeking lightning, and to still be ignored. To hide in this room now too rich to afford. To hear armies of creditors bang at the door, always yelling for more, and to have nothing to sell that could help. Except for the Steinway that sits in the corner.
Taking away the craft.
For Arthur it all came too easily to learn the scales in every key. To play the etudes and the suites, the nocturnes and the fantasy, to master the sonatas, minuets, and symphonies. To seek the truth in fits and starts, to strike the middle F like it's an arrow through the heart, to wing the right hand like a dove, the peaceful flutter of a dove, and with the left a violent shove, the moment's will demand a shove, to needle gently yet relentlessly a steady foot upon the pedal, and to clench the iron fist inside the velvet glove, to learn to whisper and to scream. The whisper justifies the scream. To let each yearning finger breathe. Nothing lives unless it breathes. To burn, to worship, to mislead.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
To question with the pinky on a key. To flee, to fight, to bleed, to float in air, nothing solid underneath. To wrap those heavy knuckles on the gate to heaven till there's nothing to achieve but to go retrieve the length of cable hidden in the cabinet. To metamorphosize the twisted rope into an alphabet. To lay the lazy sea upon the shabby wooden floor to rest. To send the end across the top to bend the sea into an S. To curve the tail beneath the S to turn the tangle to a B. To hug the wretched rooter on the fiber suffocatingly. To wrap it, to get the coil 7 loops. To penetrate the yawning hoop, to tug the loose appendage through. To yank the knot until it's ready for the job it's got to do. To toss the braid above the ceiling beam to affix the noose. To bid adieu to all of you until there's nothing left to do but climb the chair, to cinch the collar, find the edge, to step into the air. Track you down if you don't see me around.
I like the variety in the vocals so far.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I got some roses to smell. I hope you smile when I'm gone. It means I had the strength to move on, to find another story to tell, to answer the bell. I got some roses to smell. When magic's happening, my habit's been coiling up a memory and trapping it right in the cavity of my ribs, like the doors of a cabinet might. But you will hold on to a shadow just by grabbing it tight. Set it free and let it back in the light. Never out of my heart, even when out of my sight. Leaving is supposed to be hard, man. I thought it was so selfish and people I love to keep falling out of my life. But now I know, no, I don't take it personal. No, if you got a really lovely place to go, I will chase my goals, yeah, to make me whole. Cause it's urgent, we love and be loved. I've begun to scrub up with detergent to shine up my soul. Don't let my ghost drag you down. If you don't see me around, it doesn't mean that I fell. Yeah, I'm doing well. I got some roses to smell.
I like those synth runs in the background, really providing some movement against the more static feeling in the rest of the track.
To answer the bell, I got some roses to smell. Cause every screen that we tap is screaming that bigger is better, better is how you make yourself better, but matter is fleeting. I'm a living, a feed, a machine that I'm blind to see. No point in hiding my pride if there's no privacy. I've already dedicated too much of my time to trying to get my followers. I've been crying out for attention, it's leaving around a mend a hollow crater inside of me, knowing well that it don't mean shit. Going to the well for another cheap dopamine hit. I'm done being a bitch to ambition, now I'm already rich. I got a head that's full of $1 million questions, and the length of it is I don't need the courage to work, I want the strength to quit. Don't let my ghost drag you down. If you don't see me around, it doesn't mean that I fell. Yeah, I'm doing well, I got some roses to smell. I hope you smile when I'm gone. It means I had the strength to move on, to find another story to tell, to answer the bell. I got some.
I like how things are getting out of sync here, lining up with sort of what's going on in this narrative.
Arthur stepped off, yeah, he stepped off of the chair. Couldn't weigh 140 pounds. And the rope snapped, yeah, the rope snapped. And then Arthur found himself looking up from the ground. Looking up, found things looking up, looking not so down, no, not so down, no. Knots don't have to stay that way, no, not so tightly wound, What a lovely thing it is to fail, to release those grasping fingernails. Arthur thought the end was near, then Arthur played for 50 years. And then my father walked down 8th and 57th Street to Carnegie Hall, yeah, it was Carnegie Hall. The show was past sold out for weeks, but they said if you don't mind sitting on stage, sometimes we release a couple seats. 20 feet, yeah, my dad's 23, 20 feet from the hands on the keys, yeah, the hands on the keys of a man with the hands that almost didn't exist to see. Back in 97 when dad was my chauffeur, he'd play the radio and I'd try to guess the composer. Chopin sprinkled over the hum of the motor. When I was young, I'd never doubt my composure. Everything's kosher, man, I was so sure I'd say that I'm good. Don't want no adulthood, I never understood. Couldn't get how anyone would ever wanna end their life until the day that I could. I've heard it said we're alone in the ether, that we're the only intelligent creatures. So you don't need to adjust your receivers. If they were out there, they'd be texting us, hitting our beepers, invading us on some alien Julius Caesar, or begging, take me to your leader. But I got a theory, it's neither. That there's a billion brilliant alien planets at leisure, smoking alien reefer. The evolution of the mind's not the hunger to conquer, or to want, or to seek, or to wander, or even wonder, but simply to be, until we cease to be any longer. There's nothing wrong with heavy eyelids. I hope you enjoyed my 20s as much as I did. You'll never know how much that all of you provided, and I'm gonna try to do the same for my kids.
I guess that's that abrupt ending. Um, hmm. So that was interesting. Admittedly, I don't listen to a lot of hip hop or rap. I don't mind the vocal style. Um, in fact, I am quite enamored by the ability of a good rapper to string together beautiful poetry that is multi layered and fascinating rhythmically and audibly. Especially here, there's so many really interesting word choices to create the rhythm and flow, to modulate the rhythm and flow, and to keep up the sort of rhyme, and to constantly modulate the rhyming pattern. There is a lot of really cool literature based, or I guess you could say language based things to break down here. That's not my expertise, but I do appreciate it. So I'm probably not going to comment too much on the vocal delivery here, outside of some of the more musical aspects, but I do want to say that on a literary level, there is some really cool things hitting on here that I'm just unequipped to speak on, honestly. Um, and it does fascinate me. I'm pretty sure a lot of people end up trying to write poetry in their teenage years, early 20s. I was definitely one of those people who do that, and it's not easy. And it's not easy to have 15 minutes of writing. Like I said at the beginning, after we listened to the first song, this is an extremely dense track, vocally, language based. There is a lot of words being put out in just 15 minutes, and a lot of them carry multiple meanings. Not only that, but they have to sound good, fit within a specific meter, and have a rhyming pattern to it in a way that's delivered interestingly, which means that the meter and the rhyming pattern are constantly changed. Not to mention, he has four very distinct movements that all need their own distinct feel as well. So, the vocal delivery, that part right there is my nod, my acknowledgement of the work that goes into that, despite not having the language or the tools to really break it down the way that it deserves. I will just say that it is expertly crafted. Um, what I do feel equipped to talk about is some of the musical stuff that is going on in here. and maybe some of the overarching themes I might touch on. Uh, Lyrics are not something I usually talk about because I'm usually more focused on the music, but with this track where the music was um, less of a focus, we really only had 6 or 7 distinct parts throughout this 15-minute journey. Um, I really had time to listen in and focus on some of the lyrics that were going on, and plus we had a really nice visual to go along with it. So I'll see about talking about that for a bit. But first, I do want to talk about the music. Um, I found it very interesting in the fourth part when he mentioned, assuming that this is autobiographical in a sense, that he spoke about listening to a lot of um, classical in the cars with his father. I think he specifically brought up Chopin, but uh, there is a lot of classical inspiration in the piano parts here. There's obviously also a lot of hip hop inspiration here when you look at some of the synth ideas, the drum patterns, especially in the fourth bit. It was very hi hat based with a lot of eighth note, really not technical, but faster eighth note patterns inside of that. Very reminiscent of hip hop stuff, electronica stuff, like I said, with the pad going on in the background. So it still has some inspirations that are more geared towards the type of music it's in, or the genre it's in. But when we start looking at some of the more melodic aspects to it, I did feel, I mean, especially you can't come out of that second movement and not feel some sort of classical inspiration. I'm fairly certain that track 2 is an homage to a song, if not the song outright. And I cannot, for the life of me, think of what song it is, but the entire track was very familiar to me. I do like in that second part, though, how he took rhythm, the rhythmic elements of that song and turned it into a song. He sang with all of the notes, or rapped with the notes, however you want to put that. And I think it was a very clever way of showing this merger between his two interests. The interest of classical music that he developed as a child, and then the interest of more hip hop and electronic music that he's developed whenever since he was a child. I guess you could say during his teens or whenever he was mostly exposed to that. But yeah, all four tracks here definitely have a strong combination of classical ideas, whether that's musical ideas. We see really strong melodies that are not loop based. A lot of this song, when you look at the synth parts and the drum parts, they're very loop based, which is, I mean, it goes with the genre. It's the foundation of the genre of hip hop and rap. Um, and when you look at the piano parts, especially for the first two, I think for the first two songs, I'm kind of trying to remember the third one. Um, but we see some really strong melody lines that are not loop based, and like I said, I just think it's a really awesome combination of these two inspirations, these two loves that he has, classical and hip hop, and bringing them together in unique ways. And then, like I said, with part two, we see this total uh, culmination of these loves of his, these passions, where we have the strong orchestral song in the background mixing with rap delivery alongside it, and it's a really neat way of showcasing and combining the types of music that he enjoys. Um, what else? What else? Unfortunately, oh man, I thought I had something else. Oh, his vocal delivery. So the first song was pretty much straight up hip hop, rapping. Sorry. Um, almost a monotone delivery, maybe a few notes as far as range, but not necessarily aiming for a note. It feels more like speaking with intense focus on rhythm, and that showcases throughout the entire first song. The second song is more of spoken poetry, where the rhythm is not as important as the delivery is. And the delivery is based on the notes in the orchestra. So the spacing between words and the length of notes, the lengths of words and how long they're held are all dictated by what the orchestra is doing. So it comes off less as rap and more of spoken poetry, especially the beginning when he was just going by himself. And it was more of like being spoken to rather than being rapped to. And then the third one, of course, had a focus on singing. There's an emphasis on pitch there. And then finally, we end the track with another return to sort of a mix between the first two styles. There is some rapping, but a lot of the intense rhythmic aspects are removed for more of a natural cadence. But it definitely is a bit more rhythmic oriented than standard speech. So it's a nice a nice go-to between the spoken poetry and the rapping. And I think it's just really interesting that over 15 minutes, we've talked before about vocalists having range and technique. And usually, what we refer to when we're speaking about rock and metal is maybe they can do rap, but usually we're talking about cleans um, and different types of cleans, chest and head and mixed, falsettos. Um, and then compression and fries and growls. And we're usually talking about different ways to usually provide some sort of melody. Even when we get into growls and compression and fries, and those sounds aren't usually a note, it's usually a cacophony of notes creating overtones and undertones and stuff like that. It's still sort of fitting in musically. Growls are lower, fries are higher. With fries, you can still hear pitches. You can hear a fry that's super high. You can hear a fry that's in the middle. We can hear low fries. So there's still some aspect of pitch, even if the vocalist isn't aiming for a specific one. So it's really interesting to kind of see the other side of that. There is still a lot of variety in vocal delivery technique here, but it's not focusing on a variety of melodic, so to speak, vocal deliveries. We are looking at the different ways that someone can change their rhythms, their diction, their meter, their uh, cadence to create different feels. And then of course we did have one that was melody based, note based, pitch based, and that was in the third movement. So yeah, like I said, it's really cool to kind of see the other side of that. We talk about variety in singing, but it's not usually with these concepts, so that's cool. Um, Dang, I don't know if I'm really equipped to talk about some of the themes here, but I do think it is a heavy collection of songs for sure as far as the theme goes. Um, I don't really know that there's anything that really stood out to me too much. The conversation between him and his dad in the first one was, I mean, that's a heavy conversation to toss into a song casually. I don't know what the rest of this album is like. I don't know how far out of left field this song comes out of. Maybe the rest of the album is heavy and it just kind of fits in there. Maybe this is like a sucker punch. I don't know. Um, but yeah, part two was just, it was interesting because I said it was one of the more beautiful parts up to that point, and I still believe that. I really love the way that the rhythmic elements of the rapping and the spoken poetry are mixed with the beautiful orchestral arrangements that start out with a piano. I think the whole thing is beautifully created on a musical level. But then for the exclamation point at the end to be a man attempting to take his own life on a noose, I mean, uh, that is not where I thought that was going. It was sad for sure. But yeah. The third one, I don't know. This is kind of where the song started, or the series, the suite started to fade a bit on me. I don't know if it's just because I'm not used to listening to this stuff, and maybe I was becoming just a little tired of the style. Maybe it's just a sort of a taste thing where the more I listen to it, the more accustomed I will become to it, and the longer I could listen to music like this. Or it could have just been the change and the way that these last two are done. It could just be a coincidence that it happens to be the last two that bounced off of me. Some of the rhythms and the way that the meter and the rhyme work together were phenomenal in this section, but the story here, I don't know. It started to lose me, but musically, I thought it was pretty good. This is where we saw some really cool pad sweeps in the background against some shorter, well, I guess some longer notes in the foreground. And it's this idea of a very cluttered sound floor that is hidden in the mix a little bit, with a less cluttered, more spacious part in the spotlight. I think it's a really good way to wait the song out, especially with the vocals providing the singing melody on top of all that. It just provides a really nice atmosphere for the vocals to shine through. And then the ending was, I think it was the shortest track, which also threw me a bit, but it seemed to have lost a lot of the bite. And I don't know if that's because it was a more optimistic song. We have depression and issues with paying bills and stuff in the first, and then we have suicide in the second, and then we have the afterlife in the third, and then the fourth seems to be fairly positive. It's the guy who tried to commit suicide survived and became a great pianist and inspired, like I said, assuming that this is autobiographical, inspired Watsky to do what he does. Um, there's a couple of lines in here that I really enjoy. One is that there's nothing wrong with heavy eyelids. Uh, it's powerful because it's controversial, right? I don't know about everywhere, but at least in America, side hustles and monetizing your hobbies, they're huge things, right? We have the 40-hour work week, but everybody is still encouraged to work beyond that, to work their own stuff. You should pick up a second job. You should do contract work or gigs. We have Uber and Lyft, constant, you have some free time, take 30 minutes to earn some more money, right? Even though you're doing 40 hours a week, you should still be working when you're not clocked in for for your primary employer. Do you enjoy writing music? Do you enjoy art? Do you enjoy statues? Why aren't you getting paid for it? Put this stuff on Instagram, get a following, and sell it to museums, or go on Twitch and do it in front of a camera so that people can pay you for what you're already doing. There's this huge drive that every moment of your day, at least as far as I see it in my country, should be done for the dollar. Everything should be monetized, that sleeping is the worst thing you can do. And this idea that there's nothing wrong with heavy eyelids is, I don't know, that hit me real strong. I am another person who also has a hard time going to bed at night because I feel unproductive if I'm not always doing stuff. I get about 6 hours of sleep a night, and that's been my life for as long as I can remember. Even as a teenager, I used to stay up late into the night. Maybe not necessarily, maybe a tween. I'm trying to think of when I actually had a bedtime, an enforced bedtime by a parent. I would stay up super late, whether it's something dumb like playing a video game under my covers, like my old Game Boy or something, or doing homework. All the lights are out, and I've got a little flashlight trying to get homework done because I didn't do it during the day or whatever. Whatever. Ever since then, it's just I can't think of being unproductive. And it's really weird. My eyelids are getting heavy, and I'm actually upset that my body's requesting something natural to it, sleep, and that I can't stay up longer to work on another video or to do something for the channel or fix something, fix the audio that's been weird for a week or whatever. I hate the fact that I sleep. It's really dumb. So yeah, that hit me pretty hard. And I really like there's something about here about intelligent life. He says he's got a theory that aliens are not going to be talking to us or wanting to see our leaders. That most alien planets are just aliens. They're like us, just sitting at home chilling, just not trying to work our butts off, just sitting around. He says smoking alien reefer. He says the evolution of the mind is not the hunger to conquer or the want or to seek or to wander or even wonder, but to simply be. He says that when we evolve, when we reach the next form, it's not going to be about conquering things or wondering why we're here or wondering what else is out there. It's just kind of being content with who we are and living our lives just being what we are. And I think that's brilliant. It it definitely goes against a lot of I'd say popular ideas about intelligence. We have definitely humans have a need to conquer. I don't know why it's infuriating. I wish we could all just at least just appreciate that everyone else is different. That would be like a nice starting point. But we have an issue with conquering, and we attribute this to our monsters in movies, even alien movies. Aliens always want to conquer. You look at the Alien, uh, Ridley Scott. Is that who did the '70s Alien movie? And of course, they used humans to reproduce and to conquer their planets. We look at stuff like Independence Day, and they came and attacked to conquer Earth. We even look at stuff like parody stuff. Hitchhiker's Guide. It's not really a conquering thing, but aliens still come to our planet to destroy it. I mean, yeah, I mean, we're in the way of a good highway spot, but it's still to destroy our planet. Very rarely do we see any sort of aliens come by to say hello and just chill. Um, but even that kind of goes against a little bit of what he's saying here, that the next evolution in intelligence isn't even about seeing what else is out there. It's just being content with what you have. And the reason that we haven't been contacted is because aliens don't care. They might even know Earth exists, but why would they come over? What do they have to gain intellectually by coming over here and introducing themselves? Nothing. And I think that's really cool. But like I said, it does go against ideology of humans have a need to categorize, right, and expand our knowledge. There's this eternal quest to fill books with what we know, and we have this drive to go to other planets to see what's there so that we can document it. And I think it's interesting that it says that the next level of mental evolution is to stop caring about what else is out there. So, um, like I said, I do like it. I think it's interesting to say that the next level is pure leisure. That the evolution of the mind doesn't even want to seek or to wander. But I don't know, man. I think the average person should be able to just be. But I don't think an entire civilization should stop wondering what's out there or wandering away to see what else is out there. Um, I don't know why I went on that specific tangent. I didn't look at any other lyrics that deeply, but like I said, it hit me. That line definitely grabbed my attention. I am interested in more Watsky though, and it might just be more of the musical melodic aspects, the fact that he uses classical music, the fact that there's classical inspiration to him. He's classically inspired. He listened to it as a kid. Again, assuming that this is autobiographical. Maybe that is the sort of bridge that I need to get into this, because I have tried to listen to some rap before, and I have found some really interesting lyrics that I have liked, but that the music itself did not hit me well. Um, and we've actually had a couple people in the Discord tried to. I think we had like one day where I checked out like 10 or 15 rap songs, hip hop songs, um, just to kind of see what kind of hip hop I would enjoy. Well, this is it. I don't remember checking out Watsky, but the name is familiar, so I might have. Maybe it was just the song that didn't hit me as well as I wanted it to. But yeah, I enjoyed this, and I might dig some more into him. Um, but yeah, this is pretty cool. Those are my thoughts, though, on Watsky's The Lovely Thing Suite, parts 1 through 4. This is where you guys come in, though. Hit me up with your thoughts and comments. If you enjoyed it or not, if there's anything that stuck out to you, anything that didn't hit you quite well, or didn't hit you right, whatever that is. Let me know in the comments. Also, there is a description box with some links adjacent to the channel if you'd like to join the aforementioned Discord community. The link is in there, as well as stuff like Twitter and Patreon. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. All three things help out the channel immensely. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC. I got it right yesterday. I will try to get it right from now on. With the beginning of Acoustic Week. So I'm looking forward to that one. I really dig acoustic music. I don't know if I've said, I think I have said that a lot before. Something about people actually playing. I don't have anything against electric instruments, like electric guitars and keyboards and stuff, as long as someone's playing them. But when it comes to acoustic, there's just a certain warmth to it. I just love. Maybe it's because I've played a lot of acoustic stuff in my time. I don't know. Um, But yeah, we'll start that tomorrow. Until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos. Whoops.